Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of Steeler Stat Geek. This is Dave Schofield from Behind the Steel Curtain coming at you to talk about all these wonderful Steeler things we have going on and some not so wonderful Steeler things we have going on. It's great. We have football to talk about. We've actually had a game on the field and numbers to discuss, but it just wouldn't be right to start the show and not mention the passing of Coach Drake. It was a shock to the team. It was a shock to the Steelers community. A lot of people still don't know how they're going to continue on and how they're going to handle everything with the loss of such a great man. I've heard so much about his character even before he was lost to us on Saturday night or Sunday morning. It's just a sad time. It really is. But the team was back out for a short practice today because it was shortened by rain, and it was probably better that it worked out that way because it was tough for them to get back to it. They canceled practice Sunday. They moved Monday's practice to today, Tuesday, when this is being filmed. But Coach Drake is going to be missed. With Coach Tomlin's press conference today, he said he didn't even want to discuss about what they're going to do to replace him. It just doesn't seem to be appropriate right now. There's some reports with some various things that are out, but that's just not what they're going to talk about now. So, Coach Drake, we love you. We miss you. All of Steeler Nation does, and hopefully the team can go out there and put up some wins for you this year. So, let's just move on to some football because that's just kind of how things go. That sometimes we just have to keep moving. And for those of you that are here, and if you watched last week's show, that we talked about some numbers going into the game against Tampa, I want to make a disclaimer. You will not have this very often where I picked the number that I wanted, and that's exactly what happened. Last week I said that I wanted 30 points from the Steelers in week one because that was their average from the year before. I just felt it was a good goal. As I was watching the game during the second half, I was able to watch the game with the BTSC contest winner, Derek Chadwick, who came down from Windsor, Ontario to watch the game. I was able to watch it with him and his wife, Melanie, and my daughter. We were all there watching together, and Derek kept saying, well, are they going to get your 30? Are they going to get your 30? And it didn't look like they were at halftime, but as time went on, we kept talking. Hey, I think they can get this. Oh, they're going to get it now. And what do you know? I wanted more than 30, but I was happy with the 30 points that they put up. So that was a lot of fun. There were some other numbers that I outlined in my Crunching the Numbers article that I do for the website. There'll be another one this week heading into this game. I wanted to see at least 19 first downs because that's what they averaged last year. They got exactly 19. Wanted to see only one turnover. The other one got overturned on a penalty. We got one turnover. Really wanted to see a +1 in turnovers. We got a 0. The Steelers had a 0 turnover margin, but that's only because the interception on the 2-point conversion does not officially count statistics-wise as an interception in the plus minus or in the anything else. When it comes to a 2-point conversion play, the only statistics that count there are points scored. If someone catches a 2-point conversion, it counts as 2 points scored. If a quarterback throws a conversion, it counts as 2 points. Running back runs, it counts as 2 points. They don't get credit for yards, carries, catches, incompletions, interceptions. Well, I was going to say safeties, but they can't really have. I guess technically you could run backwards 100 yards and have a 2-point safety, but that's just kind of silly. None of those other stats count on that conversion. So if it wasn't for that, the Steelers would have had a +1 turnover margin. So there was a lot of good numbers from this game. If we're going to go ahead and start talking about the numbers from this week, people in the live chat, go ahead and start throwing out there what numbers you liked that you saw from the game Friday night. Before I throw out my numbers, for those of you watching on YouTube, over my right shoulder, there's the mask the Kylo Ren Steelers mask. If you were watching on NFL Network, here's your number. Exactly at the end of the first quarter, when they cut the commercial, there was a shot of me wearing the mask. Um, Lance Williams sent me a text right away, said, I just saw Dave on TV. Jeff thought he was crazy because Jeff was so busy doing other stuff. He doesn't watch those little send off parts of the game. If anyone in the live chat saw it, let me know. Um, but there I was, wore the mask a good bit during the game. I don't always do it during the game, but I was also trying to do everything I could to get a shot, to get noticed, to get my daughter on the Jumbotron, which we did eventually do that during the game. So let's talk numbers. Let's talk numbers. The biggest number that I'm sure everyone's going to want to shout out here, so I'll start with it, is we're going to go with 10. We're going to go with the 10 tackles of Devin Bush in his debut. That was, pretty big deal. Now, some people might say, well, some of those tackles were downfield. True, some of those tackles were downfield. Not all of them were for a loss. He had a great tackle for a loss on fourth down with him and Ola making that stop. And that's right after he made a great stop on third down, knowing where the sticks was with a crossing route on a tight end, and kept him and drove him back and did not let him get that first down. So those were some really good heads up plays by Devin Bush. The key is he was all over the place. He was after the ball. So whether the ball was downfield or whatnot, there were plays where it wasn't even towards him, and he still was able to go in and get 10 tackles, which was really nice. I There were some concerning numbers from the game this past week. I'm going to throw out the number 31 as a negative. Steelers gave up 31 first downs. I know getting a first down is, we've talked about how that's not always the best judge of things, because you could have a one play drive that's a touchdown, and technically a touchdown counts as a first down. So it's one first down, or you could go out there for a long, methodical drive and have first downs. I like that number to be high for the Steelers, even though they're scoring quick, because I want them to show that they can keep drives sustained and really keep them going. If anyone in the live chat can help out, I do not think that the Steelers had a 3 and out all game. I'm pretty sure that they at least achieved one first down. Well, that's not true. I was going to say they achieved one first down on every drive, but I know they did not get a first down at the end of the first half when they got the turnover. They didn't get a first down, but they were able to get a field goal. So let's see what we got here. Just to mention, if you're in the live chat now, we do have what we call the super chat feature. I'm not asking you to use it. I'm not saying you have to use it, but if you want to type a comment or ask a question, you can type it in, hit that $sign, donate any amount that you want to the show, and we'll get your question or comment bumped to the top of the queue. So that way it'll definitely get mentioned. So if we start looking through here we got some people that says that they saw me. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Is that Elaine John Charles? Was one that says they saw me. Matt Thomas saw me. Um, I know some other people that said that they'd seen me in a different live chat um, going on, that, yeah, that the people saw the mask at the game. That's great. Um, Getting bent with Bo, didn't realize that Devin Bush had 10 tackles. Well, if you've been to the site at all, it's been all over the place. Yeah, Matt Thomas. Here we go. I jumped out of my chair and said, "That's Dave," and his kids thought he was nuts. That's pretty funny. So it's nice to know that people recognize the mask. So Ryan O'Toole said Bush did more than Devin White. That is true. Now, Devin White did not play as much as Devin Bush. Devin Bush played the first half. He did not play in the second half. Um, so that's one. Also, interesting article coming out tomorrow morning that I wrote about how Devin Bush, now after the first week, how that first week of the preseason, how that shapes up where he currently stands in the defensive rookie of the year conversation. I know the regular season hasn't started, but if you're talking about Vegas odds, now's the time that they're going to fluctuate those things, especially with those rookies. Here we go. Andrew B says, here's a number that he liked. How about 141.1? If people don't know what that was, I'm pretty sure that was Mason Rudolph's quarterback rating because he came in and had himself a pretty solid game. All three quarterbacks played pretty well. Um, I Rudolph, I'm pretty sure had the highest. Was that Rudolph's or was that Hodges? I think it was Rudolph's. We'll find out here. Someone will tell me in the live chat as I scroll down through. Um, Josh Dobbs got 2 series. He did flip the field before they had to punt when he started at the 7-yard line, and that was on the long pass to James Washington. If he could have got a little bit more air under it, could have been 7, maybe, but it was still a pretty nice completion in the first place. And then Dobbs did lead a drive that started at their own 17 and that did get a field goal. Rudolph got 4 drives. So out of his 4 drives, he had 2 touchdowns and a field goal and a punt. So that's pretty good. And then Hodges had 4 drives. And I'm pretty sure his was a field goal, a touchdown, and 2 punts. I don't count a drive that the only plays are kneel downs. I don't count that as a drive. So that was pretty good. Someone said they missed me. Brad missed me. That's all right. Devin White only had 1 tackle. So Daredevil said that he saw me at the game. Um, Someone wants to Thomas White. Did I use my Kylo Ren powers to influence the outcome? I'll be honest with you. The other part, I don't have it with me, is I actually found a yellow lightsaber that you just flick it out and it extends that I take to the games. I didn't even remember that I had it till halftime. So I didn't even use the lightsaber power for that one. Um, Someone said about they watched the All 22. That was Brad. The strength to push back tight ends and interior linemen wasn't there, is what he was saying. Um, I'll be honest with you. There were times that I felt that Devin Bush was blocked, or he did get blocked. So he didn't. He didn't get to fight up um, to get the tackle on a shorter gain as what you would like. But you have to remember, it was his first game, and those guys on the other side, they're making money to try to block him. So you can't ask him to make every play. It's their job too. So that's that's um that's just kind of how it is sometimes. So I mean, all in all, to say that he wasn't just caught up in the crowd and he was constantly getting to the ball. There's still things to work at. Is he a little small? Perhaps we'll see. We'll see how that can progress. Kriakis did throw out the number 62, which is too young to pass. We've talked about that already, and I wholeheartedly agree. Um, then here we go. Hodges would have had better ratings if his receivers hadn't dropped the ball. That is true. There were some drops. Someone bringing up, got to make sure I get it right. Unlike Coach Tomlin today, it's Ulysses Gilbert the third. He did call him Ulysses Grant today. It was pretty funny. He laughed it off pretty good. He had 1.5 sacks, I do believe, and did pretty well. One thing that was brought up about him, he was playing later on in the game. You want to see something for this week? See when they have Gilbert take the field. You might see him out there maybe with the first group or very shortly after to get a better look against some better competition because he definitely did turn some heads. Have a question about for this past week. What about Gentry? I'll be honest with you. I tried to rewatch the game on TV after being there. I was also trying to write some articles at the time, so I didn't get to look at the blocking as much as I hoped to. I don't know how Gentry did as a blocker, and in order for him to be a quality tight end for the Steelers, that's something that's going to be important. But big target in the end zone. Rudolph found him pretty easy. You know, anyone any shorter wouldn't have been open. So you gotta like that possibility. But if he can't come out there and sustain a block, that's going to be the key to him getting playing time in the regular season. Um, Felicia, let's talk Vegas, baby. Okay, point spread to bet on. Don't know if she's talking about this game coming up or just throughout the season. We talk an awful lot about point spreads for the week when it comes to the Steelers preview when we get into, especially in the regular season, that we do like to talk about point spreads there. I'll mention them on this show some because I have the numbers of it. For this week coming up, it's a pick 'em game. So the money's moved it a little bit where I saw at one point it did go to 1 point in the Steelers' favor, but it's basically a pick 'em game, and the over under is at 46. The last I saw, I would definitely, Felicia, you want something to bet on? Take the over in this game on Saturday with the Steelers and the Chiefs. I think they're gonna. I mean, 46. That's only that's a if it's 23 to 24, you're over. And I think both teams will be there. I would go way over on that over under when it came to the Steelers. That's my safe bet for this weekend. So here we go. I'm going to have to kind of skim through these in order to get on to this coming week. Um, so here we go. Yeah, someone did say that White played 2 series. Was how long he was in the game. So there we go. So where we have some stuff. Any word on Deontay Johnson? He apparently was practicing today in the abbreviated practice. They were not in pads. The only people that were not out there today was because this is one more number we want to talk about from this past week. Still no Joe Hayden. Has an ankle contusion. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's a bruise. Um, Marquise Pouncey and David DeCastro. DeCastro's dealing with some just general soreness and general soreness. Sorry, I couldn't help it. And DeCast and Pouncey is no one's really sure what his injury is. They asked um, Coach Tomlin today, and he would not disclose what it was. So, but everyone else was back on the field today. Sean Davis was out there. Deontay Johnson was out there. So hopefully that's what we can see. The one other person that wasn't there was the one injury from this week, which was um, Christian Scotland Williamson has like a soft tissue. Sorry, I'm getting a message from Jeff Hartman. He has a soft tissue injury. So when I mentioned David DeCastro, I want everyone to know that we have our contest going on. We hit 100 people in our Survivor League. I've got to go in and check the settings to see if we're allowed to have more than 100. If we're not allowed to have more than 100, we will set up another one. So if you're not sure what we're talking about, it's a Survivor League through Yahoo. It's right now. It's the top article at Behind the Steel Curtain because we just updated it, and we'll see what we can do. All right, here we go. Before we move on to this week, we've got some super chat going on. First of all, Felicia just throws out a good job sticker. There's $5 in the tip jar. Thank you, Felicia. And then for here we go, $6.49. Ryan O'Toole. Rumor has it you threatened to retire from BTSC if you aren't allowed to wear the Kylo Ren helmet during chats. um, I'll be honest with you. I tried it again tonight. I can't do the headset and the helmet in order to do the show. I even was going to try to do it just for a second, and it just doesn't work. So that's what's going on with the helmet. So let's transition now into this coming week. The Steelers play Saturday night at 7:30. It'll be on NFL Network. They play the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be really, really interesting for this one. Once again, I've already said if it's 46 points, take the over in this game because the number I'm going to throw out there to you all for this week, and I want to make sure I go with the one that I say. Last week's number was 30, where I wanted the Steelers to score 30 points. This week, I think the Steelers are going to have a super successful game with the number of 24. If they can hold the Kansas City Chiefs to 24 points or less, I think that's a really big statement of their defense going into this season. Uh, Mahomes did play a series in week 1 of the preseason, so I'm assuming that he's also going to be playing some this week. Some more of the Steelers starters and their more regular players will probably play for a series or maybe 2 in this game. I don't look for Ben Roethlisberger to play at all. He would be one for sure. And then possibly Marquise Pouncey, depending on him. Other than that, you might see everybody at least get a series. So it's a little bit more of the bigger competition. Kansas City, so far for the preseason, is leading the league in points. They put up 38 points last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they go this week. If the Steelers can hold them to 24 points on defense, that's a big win, and that's a big statement from there. Last year in week 2, the Steelers gave up 51 points to the Green Bay Packers in their only loss of the preseason. But then the year before they only gave up 13 points and won the game 17-13. I can't remember who that was against. And in 2016 was when they stunk it up against the Philadelphia Eagles and lost 17-0 in the preseason. So I want to see that week 2. I want to see that offense begin to flow some more. Um, I think you're going to see a switch up with quarterbacks in the order that they come out. There was some questions about who was really ahead, Dobbs or Rudolph. Well, it really had to be Dobbs. I'm telling you, Josh Dobbs started that game because he was the backup quarterback last year. Unless he was injured or Ben was going to play, he was going to get the first crack at it. Now, even if Josh Dobbs played lights out and Mason Rudolph came out there and Devlin Hodges and just played terrible, you were going to see one of those other two guys start this second week. That's the rotation that they want. They want to see how are people going to do. I mean, if they were that terrible, I don't know if they would have done it. But because all three played well, I'd put my money on Mason Rudolph starting this game on Saturday night against the Chiefs. So I thought all the quarterbacks looked good. I thought some receivers really showed some stuff. I'm going to once again highlight my sleeper pick to make the roster that I've talked about for a while, and that is one Johnny Holton. I believe he fills that special teams void that the team lost with Darius Hayward Bay, and he's capable to be a fifth wide receiver. I could see him if one of the other receivers gets bumped off the roster, like possibly a Rogers or a Switzer. That I know some people are really high on some of these other Deontay Spencer, Tevin Jones had a pretty good game, but Johnny Holton, keep your eye out on him, especially with these guys playing special teams. Really love to see Ola Denier getting some tackles on the kickoffs. Benny Snell Jr. getting tackles. Got the first tackle of the game on the opening kickoff. It's some really good stuff. So let's go ahead and see what kind of numbers we got coming into the live chat. I just saw something um, that people talking about injury reports. And here we go. 63 total points is what we want from Cree Ickes. I don't know if I want that many total points because I don't want Kansas City to have as many points. If Kansas City scores 24 and the Steelers win the game, they just hit their over. So there you go, Felicia. That's why I'm going with that one. Would like to see some progression from Lane and Snell. Uh, Justin Lane did struggle at the beginning when he was going against the higher competition. He did get better as the game went on. He did miss two tackles that both resulted in touchdowns. The first one looked worse than the second. They kind of happened right in front of me at the game, so I was able to see them. But he did not. He had a learning curve. He got better as the game went on, but he's got to bounce back and learn from that. And then Benny Snell, I think he's just got to improve on that stiff arm. Kind of whiffed on one there a little bit. I also wouldn't mind him just saying, "Hey, I'm going to." It's better to fall forward and get 2 or 3 yards than it is to try to bust it for 8. So so here we go. If we got any kind of numbers or any kind of questions coming in, go ahead and put them in the live chat now. Some Holton is good competition for Rogers and Switzers. That's right, Jared Devil. I believe that's what I'm saying. Did I say Tevin Jones, Tevin Smith? I'm not sure exactly what I know. It's Tevin. I might have got that one wrong there. So thanks, Brad. I appreciate that for letting me know that one. Um, so I don't know which person it is. Um, so here we go. What any other specific numbers that you want to see this week? What about sacks? What kind of sacks would you like to see? The Steelers had 4 last week. It'd be nice to see them raise that number a little bit. Um, So, oh yeah, we're right. It is Tevin Jones. Hey, I did know what I was talking about. So, here's someone that was brought up. Marcus Allen was kind of caught up in the crowd. Didn't see an awful lot from him. I know some people are really high on him. He's got some skill that could really help the Steelers, but we've got to see him come out on the field. And I know last preseason he struggled with injury, but he really came on in week 3 to earn that spot on the 53 is when he really made a big push. So I'd like to see that coming from him because right now he's kind of the forgotten safety going on right now. Here we go. We've got another super chat question from Thomas White. Um, I'm safe to show. Oh, is it shit? Would he recommend going to the Steelers Chiefs game without a ticket? Meaning, could you get one there? I'll be honest with you. If you wait to the last minute and hop on, I suggest Ticketmaster because that's the official site of from NFL tickets. I know you can get stuff through StubHub and whatnot, but as a season ticket holder, if I wish to sell my tickets, I have an easy way to just put them out right on Ticketmaster. It's our official um, selling resale tickets for NFL tickets. You know they're legit from Ticketmaster. If you show up to that game, I'm sure you can get some tickets at a good price. You can get on Ticketmaster now and get some tickets for a pretty good price. I've got several different family members that are heading up to the game Saturday because it's just um, and they're both doing what I was trying to suggest to do with Jeff Hartman, Brian Anthony Davis, and get Lance Williams coming in from the West Coast. But he says it's too hot in August to be in Pittsburgh and go to a game. But the Pirates play an afternoon game. They play the Cubs at 1:30, and then the Steelers play at 7:30. If you live outside the Pittsburgh area and want to catch some good Pittsburgh sports, go hit up the Pirates and then grab yourself something to eat, and then head on over to Heinz Field to check the Steelers. So Ali, a regular in these chats, a lot of you are regular in these chats, I should say. He'd like to see 2 picks by Artie Burns. Um, that would be nice. I would rather see Artie Burns actually get on the field because he did not do that this past game. So if he's going to show that he can do anything, first things first, he's got to get on the field. Um, so here we go. And then yeah, some people are agreeing that Marcus Allen is kind of getting passed up. Okay. How much do tickets usually cost to watch a game at Heinz Field? That's from Darren Dalton. It's very simple. Depends on the game. And it depends on where you want to sit. My seats are in the lower deck in the end zone and the closed end of the stadium, so I have a great view of the jumbotron and the field at the same time. And those tickets, depending on the game, are a couple $100s each. If you wanted those same tickets for a preseason game, you're probably looking about, after fees and everything, about maybe probably no more than $60 a piece for a preseason game. If you don't care where you sit and you just want to get in the stadium, you can probably get them for bare bones minimum. You'd be surprised. I know some people that they just give away their preseason tickets because I understand you got to be selective with your games when it comes to things like that. That you don't want to, be wise with your hard-earned money. I'll be honest with you. I probably have enough money in the live chats right now for someone to go to the game. Well, I mean, I don't know from not me personally, but there's been enough donated for someone to go to the game. Check out Ticketmaster and look for the little for preseason games. A lot of times, it's the only time this ever happens. You're going to get a better price from resale tickets than you are tickets from the actual Steelers. Those are the blue seats. If you get on the website and check it out. So here we go. Someone would like to see Bud Dupree with a sack, which would be great. So that pretty much sums it up. I think we pretty much dried up with any kind of number stuff in the live chat. So like I said, don't think that I'm any big great grad guru because I called a few of the numbers from this past week. I was basically going off of averages. So the 30 points was a good thing to go with, and they nailed it. This week, I'd like to see the defense only give up 24 points. Like I said, last year they averaged 23.75. So I rounded that up to 24. 24 or under for the going to get up against the Chiefs. would be a great total. Another number that I really like from this past week is the number one, and that is the Steelers at least have one preseason victory because it's not very often the team that goes 0-4 in the preseason makes the playoffs or makes the Super Bowl or anything like that. So even though the preseason doesn't really matter when it comes to wins or losses, that that's one you'd like to at least get one. Jeff Hartman talked about that last week on I'm pretty sure on the Steelers preview. So so here we go. I got some people. One person that did say that they bought 5 tickets in the corner end zone for the home opener. Home opener is expensive. The home opener is an expensive game. You're going to look. I mean, that's actually what you pay there. Reginald is not bad for the home opener because I know. Um, Ali in Texas is asking about watching the games free online. I'm going to say this because it's on NFL Network. If you don't get NFL Network, the NFL mobile app, NFL Network app, could possibly show the game. You may have to log in is the only problem with that one. So there's some other streams that people have. You can go in and type those. I'm gonna be honest with you. Be very careful. I have a laptop from a few years ago that I don't even use anymore because it's got too many viruses because I used it to stream Steelers games. So you have to be very careful with what you're going to put out there. I know sometimes people like to put things in the threads of our articles to say where you can watch the games. A lot of times we'll have to hide those comments because we the last thing we want is someone to come in and click on a website from our one of our articles that then gives them a virus. So lots of opportunities to watch the games. They have them also on replay on NFL Network. The other big suggestion that I have is if not, you can at least listen to them on the radio. I paid $1 for an app on my phone years ago that that lists out all the radio stations that stream the game, both home and away. So you even have the Kansas City you would even have the Kansas City teams radio stations. Not all of them work, but there's always at least one or two that works, and that's if nothing else, you can at least catch it on the radio. So, I want to thank you all for joining in tonight. We had over 60 people here in the live chat and everything going on, and had some good numbers. Um, I'm excited about more Steelers football. Week 2 should tell us a little bit more about how things are going to go. Um, I'd like to see those only 24 points. And another thing, let's drop those number of first downs down. Let's try to keep them under 30. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And to send you off Lance Williams style, tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe. We'll see you all next week.